And I truly hope that my good friend Macron and Prime Minister Meloni of Italy, they must take responsibility, he says. This coming Saturday, I'm heading to Foz do Iguaçu to attend the UNASUR meeting, which will include the European Union's participation. I truly hope they bring the good news that they will sign the agreement and that they won't be afraid, afraid of losing competitiveness with the Brazilian people. Possibly on Saturday, we might sign the Mercosur-European Union agreement, an agreement that has been discussed for exactly 26 years. It's an agreement that, if successful, involves, a GDP of $22 trillion and a population of 700 million, 72 million inhabitants. In what exactly is taking place right now concerning this agreement? The European Union is quite prepared to finalize the agreement. Mercosur is also quite prepared to finalize the agreement. But a rather small problem has suddenly emerged. President Macron of France is very much concerned about the rural producers in France, He believes they're going to lose their competitive edge in the dispute with Brazil, and they're not wanting to finalize the agreement right now because the people are quite rebellious in France. Even though I've told him repeatedly that Brazil does not compete with France's agricultural products. In reality, these are fundamentally different things. They possess entirely distinct qualities, and we are consistently yielding far more than they are. And I truly hope that my good friend Macron and Prime Minister Meloni of Italy, they must take responsibility, he says. This coming Saturday, I'm heading to Foz do Iguaçu to attend the UNASUR meeting, which will include the European Union's participation. I truly hope they bring the good news that they will sign the agreement and that they won't be afraid, afraid of losing competitiveness with the Brazilian people.
And after the tariff situation, I've already had 3 meetings with President Trump. 3 meetings with President Trump. And in these 3 meetings, we managed to secure benefits for Brazil in every single one of them, including the aspect of tax reduction. And the most crucial thing here was to remove our Minister Alexandre Moraes from the influence of his so-called linguistic law there, which is a law that punishes people. And all of this was done in defense of something truly sacred.
All this in defense of something sacred. That is, the very first thing we did was to completely reject, to not accept any notion whatsoever of that inferiority complex, that stray dog mentality. The second crucial point was to accept the undeniable fact that Brazilian sovereignty and its democratic principles were absolutely not open for any discussion. The United States, just like Brazil, has every right and the courage to impose tariffs on any product it chooses from any country it desires in order to protect its own domestic industries.
But one cannot tell a lie. And Brazil, it cannot tell a lie either. It's a decisive year where Brazilian society will have to define the country it wants to build. What country does it imagine leaving for its children and grandchildren? What kind of democracy will people want?
This is not my first term as president, as you are all very well aware. I can confidently declare that throughout these past 3 years, we have successfully accomplished things that many believe were utterly impossible to achieve in this country. I take great pride, immense pride, in having managed to arrive here, in this situation that is highly comfortable from an economic point of view, from the standpoint of social achievements, and from the standpoint of democratic advances, which were by no means few. This is the year of truth. It's important that we don't forget that for the first time in 520 years, you have a president of the Republic arrested for an attempted coup. And along with him, you have 4 four-star generals arrested, something that had never happened in this country. This is the most exceptional moment in the history of this country, is that we have managed to consolidate things for the very first time.
That democracy is truly worth the effort when it is exercised in its full potential.